I'm Maddie.
I'm Amber. And we're Witches Talking Tarot.
We are the weirdos in this one.
Like a song, like a sailor snubble. Flip the switch and let the cauldron bubble. Sam.
Wow.
Hi, everyone. I'm Maddie.
And I'm Amber.
And we're
Witches Talking Tarot.
And today we're going to bend, wink, wink, into a really fun topic. I usually say dive, but I thought like bend would be really funny.
Well, I'm going to stretch into it.
Damn, that was a lot. I missed that fucking opportunity. That was a lot.
That's okay. Usually I'm the one who's blonde, so I'll take it where I can get it.
We're going to be talking about yoga. So to start off the topic, I guess
Namaste. Sorry,
No,
you
it's
said
okay.
to start off. I was like, I couldn't. I had just done this, so when you said that, I was like, Namaste. That is how we start.
To start off
I
the topic, I
couldn't
guess
help
we'll do
myself.
like a super tiny amount of history around yoga. When I was doing my research, it said it's at least 5,000 years old.
And some scientists think it might be up to 10,000.
Yeah, so and it was written by like it starts with an R.
It
the-
predates any religion, but like the
Uh-huh.
practice was already happening before it
Right.
ever got written down. you
right,
know?
right, and then like because it was word of mouth or something like
Right.
that.
It
and
was a
then they
practice
wrote
that
it.
was taught. I mean, it's
Uh-huh.
basically like a spiritual practice that
Mhm.
has scientific, like actual science behind it,
Mhm.
like for the body and the mind.
Yes, yeah. It's
Fucking cool.
it's so
It's cool.
relaxing. It is cool.
Yeah, this is
Okay,
the last
okay,
episode.
okay.
Yep. Good call.
Sorry, guys. I did not confirm with Amber about
I
something
forgot
before
about
we
that,
start.
so I'm so glad
I was just
you
looking at
said
the
it.
time and I was like, oh, I know when
Yeah.
we'll do that if we
Yeah,
have to do that.
Right, yeah.
But anyway, yoga. Now, do you practice yoga yourself?
I do. I don't regularly.
It's not like
I
a
used
regular
to.
thing, yeah.
Well, I used to do it regularly, but my life is so busy. And the whole
Exactly.
point of yoga is to have you slow down.
Exactly.
And one thing that I'm really excited to discuss throughout this episode is something that kept coming to me as I was reading like about the history and stuff.
Mhm.
We in the West
Right.
think of yoga as exercise.
Exercise, physical,
But
all
it's-
physical. Yeah.
It's so much more than
Mhm.
that. And that is why when you're practicing yoga, you want to do it with an actually trained yogi
Mhm.
because like truly it is a spiritual practice that scientifically brings together the body and the mind in
Mhm.
harmony with our external, which
Oh, yeah.
I love
It's
because
very interesting.
yeah, I mean
It's
it goes so well with last episode of meditation.
It's I used to practice yoga regularly, at least once a day. And then I did prenatal yoga with my son, my first son,
Mhm.
all the way through. And it
Okay.
was so nice. It was great. It felt amazing. But I've kind of had to slow down since having Theodore. I
Yeah.
tried to get back into it and I still do it every once in a while. I'd love to get back into a regular practice when I'm physically able.
Right.
It's just hard with two toddlers because if you think cats are bad to do yoga with,
Well,
or
see,
goats,
'cause,
like
like-
I got them climbing on me.
Right. I started yoga with toddlers climbing on me, and I thought it was great because it just made me focus more on my balance. Like it
Mhm.
really made
Well,
me
the toddlers aren't the
more-
problem; it's the babies.
well,
And
I mean,
Orion's like
yeah.
now a toddler, and now I'm gonna have another baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, because I used Lolly when Lolly was a baby, she really liked it when I did yoga. Like,
Yeah.
it was fun. Yeah.
When I had
and, like,
Theodore, and
Gia would use me like a bridge, and Roz would use me to climb on.
Mhm.
And it was a lot of fun. But also it's very the best word I've got is rewarding. for
Yeah.
the insides. Like the inside of my body always
Mhm.
felt rewarded by yoga.
Mhm.
And like I need to make more time for it because I truly enjoyed it when I did it. One of my friends was training to become a yoga instructor, and she decided to she asked me if I'd be like her guinea pig, and she practiced like being an instructor with me, and she'd
Mhm.
teach me things, and she taught me sun salutation first, and like then she taught me a bunch of other poses, and she complimented my balance, which was nice because it's fun to be complimented. But afterwards, I always just felt so good.
I know this sounds weird, but like it's almost like you feel spiritually clean,
Yes.
but also almost physically clean as
Absolutely.
well, you know?
Absolutely. Even without doing hot yoga. 'Cause we're going to
Yeah.
talk about hot yoga too, but
Mhm.
like just regular yoga. Like we were talking in the car about open hip or wide hip child's pose,
My
right?
favorite pose.
And it feels so good.
Absolutely.
It's the way that sun salutation starts.
Mhm.
And like when because you're consciously doing everything for yoga. That's one of the things that it's like, it's not just exercise. Like you have to focus on your breath. You focus on the movements of your body. So you focus on the way that the breath moves into you, and you can feel it as it charges all the way down your spine. Like
Mhm.
I felt it all the way down to my tailbone. Like
Oh
literally.
yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
I've been in pain for weeks. Like I've been waking up feeling like I got hit by a train.
I can't even blame the weather because it's been hot as shit outside. It's not. I mean, I guess we had a couple storms,
You know,
but
I can blame my bed because we need a new bed, but like honestly, I don't always wake up feeling like I got beat the fuck up. But
Yeah,
like
right.
after this morning to get in the mood for our episode today, I did sun salutation, and my whole tense back
Mhm.
is not tense anymore. Like I've been in pain every time I had to turn my neck.
right.
And I just did it for a little bit of fun, just to get in the mood for the episode, and I feel better.
So I haven't been doing yoga for reasons that I am a
Yeah.
high risk pregnancy and
Right.
can't do too much stretching, but I have done a couple positions off the bed in a non-freaky way. But like I will lay on, like my bed's on the floor, y'all. Like I don't have a bed
Yeah.
frame, you know. So I'll like it's almost like the child's pose,
Mhm.
but it's with
With
half
the-
of my body
yeah.
on the bed.
It
Oh my
relieves that spine.
Yes, without doing the full. It's almost like a easier take on that
Yeah.
pose. And that's the thing about yoga. A lot of people think you have to be super skinny to do yoga, or you have to be able to do these poses correctly right away.
Or be
Look,
flexible. You
Exactly.
don't. It'll make
it will
you flexible.
happen.
Yeah.
Exactly. You can be a big girl like myself and still do yoga. I was a lot, okay, in the pound wise. Tell me why I can put my head or my leg over my head. I can't right now. Don't ask. Like it's not gonna happen, but
yeah.
I could. And it's people just. I feel like a lot of bigger people get discouraged with yoga because they can't automatically just do it, and that's not
Or
gonna
clumsy
happen.
people. Because like
Clumsy people.
I have so many bruises on my body from
Mhm.
doorways and table legs, and because I'm clumsy as shit. But I can still do yoga.
You have to. It's not. You're not going to get it the first time
No,
around. You have
no.
to train your body.
Yeah.
It's a slow
absolutely.
process.
because it's about harmonizing the mind
Yes.
and the body.
Exactly.
Which is why you focus on everything you're doing. You focus on your breath as
Mhm.
you're doing it. You focus on the way that it moves through your body, because it's all about harmonizing. It's
Mhm.
not about perfection.
Well, and that goes with our meditation discussion.
Yeah.
You know, with people think, oh, I can't meditate. I can't just immediately get into that zone.
I know.
It takes a
It
while
does.
to be able to do that.
And
Or-
everybody has different levels that they're able to
Exactly.
attain. And there's nothing wrong with that.
exactly.
And it also, like, yoga can be intimidating because, like, okay,
you
for
see
instance-
these bitches in like these crazy fucked up mood like.
well, yeah,
positions.
or you start a video that says yoga for beginners, and then they're like just going through it, and you're like, wait, what the fuck?
I
What the
can't
fuck? What the
fucking
fuck?
breathe.
Yeah, and you're like, you don't know what they did last, and now you got to rewind and you got to stop, and it becomes very frustrating, right? I started to tell you in the car, but we got sidetracked, and on Amazon Prime, there is a show. It is
Motherfucker,
called-
we've gotten sidetracked every time.
I know.
Okay.
But you're gonna love this, and I hope you guys do too. And I was like, as an adult, I probably am gonna do this. And that's why I'm telling you guys on the show instead of just telling Maddie later, because I think this is valid for everybody. It's a show called Cosmic Kids, and it is a children's yoga show.
Oh,
And
nice.
She tells interactive little stories. And the way that you go through the story is it's all yoga poses. So she starts out like you start off with this specific, you start off in not child, like I don't remember what pose, but basically you're sitting and you bring your hands down here and
So
she has the
center.
kids. Yeah. And she has the kids say namaste. And that's how it starts story time.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, and then so she stands up and she's like, "Oh, who are we gonna hear from today?" And she like tells you, and she's doing yoga poses, having the kid that's watching do yoga poses along with her the whole time, and she's not telling them like you're gonna do this yoga pose. It just goes along with the story. So like after they do something to get like warmed up because they gotta take a trip to Texas, right? They're sitting and they're stretching in a yoga pose, right? Or maybe she's like this, or I can't remember how she is, but the phone rings. Oh, she's got both of her legs out. And then she's like, the phone's ringing, ring, 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 ring. Let's answer it. And she does another pose.
Oh my God.
And she's talking on the phone and she's like, okay, all right, Sheriff
my
Rabbit.
child
would
would
love this.
Thank you
Absolutely.
so
And
much.
that's why I was like, do you have Amazon? Because you have to watch the
Oh
show.
my gosh.
And then, to make it even, she's like, she gets off the phone and then she goes, ring, ring, ring. Oh my gosh, the phone's ringing again. Let's answer it with the other phone.
Oh my
And
God.
she does it again.
I used to do baby yoga with my babies.
Yes.
And I would literally grab their feet and I'd be like, we're talking on the phone. We're talking on the phone. It's like that. It's that same pose.
Yes.
They loved it. Baby yoga. Every baby that I have done baby yoga with, which is my children and my sister's two youngest, our two oldest.
What about your niece, your cousin?
and
Yeah.
my So when I watched them,
yeah, baby
no,
cousin.
she could
whatever.
bend so much more than the other one. But
Everybody, I was the most
they-
flexible kid in class until like I was 11
they
years old.
all loved it. It helps with gas. It is something that I don't know where you guys are, what state you're located in, but like we have a system called Parents as Teachers.
Mhm.
It is actually something that Parents as Teachers teaches new mothers with newborns
cool.
and newborns to 3 months. They
I
will
love
show you
that.
the different yoga poses and stretches for newborns. It helps with gas. It helps with colic. I highly recommend baby
It probably
yoga.
helps with proper growth because again, you
You're
got to remember,
stretching. They do
this
that
is-
in India.
yeah, this is 10,000 to 5,000 year old
Mhm.
practice that predates any religion we're aware of. And it's all about the body and the mind. So baby yoga, I'm sure helps them
Oh,
grow like
absolutely.
the best they can. You know what I
Well,
mean? Like, that's
there's
amazing. I
this
wish I knew about
practice.
baby yoga.
You mentioned that there's this practice in India, I believe. They don't do it all at like, not everybody does it because some people think it's a little mean. But like when the baby's first born and they're getting their first bath is when they first start with baby yoga. And as they're like getting their first bath, they're stretching. Of course, they're screaming. All babies scream when they get their first bath.
Yeah.
But they do that first little session of baby yoga. And I get it. I understand why they're
makes
doing it.
so much
Because they're
sense.
out of the womb, so they're stretching them out, and
Well,
it
not
helps
just
their
that,
like.
but they're in the bath, so it's the closest to the atmosphere that they've been in because they
Yes.
have been in a pool of amniotic fluid.
Mhm.
So now they're in the water and their body's getting to stretch
Yes.
in the water with the hydration on the
Mhm.
skin. Because like one thing that I had never really realized about yoga before we were doing this episode, but there's a whole lot of the focus of not just the way that the air moves into your body through
Mhm.
your mouth and your lungs,
Mhm.
but the way the air moves through our skin as we're doing
Right.
things, because it truly does.
Well, and it helps
And,
them
like,
get that amniotic fluid up.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
But it's also like close to the environment they've been
Mhm.
in. So it's probably the healthiest way for their bodies
Mhm.
to start this process
Mhm.
versus the skin getting dried out in the air that it's never been
Right.
in. So now it's painful for the skin to stretch.
Right.
But in the water, even though the babies might hate it because they always hate
They
that,
do. They
but-
are absolutely
but
screaming. A
it's-
lot of people don't like
their
it.
skin has to not hurt as much.
Mhm.
Like that's
Well,
actually
and they're
really
screaming because
genius.
babies scream when they're born.
Well, yeah,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean. It's
right.
not
it's
like
a new environment.
they're
It's
not.
like if you
in
got
pain.
abducted by aliens, you'd scream like a baby
Right,
too,
exactly.
literally.
Like they're
You're-
not in pain. It's not
Right.
something that hurts them.
Right.
Now,
just-
if you've never
they're
seen
relating
the
their
practice,
terror because they don't know what the fuck's going on.
like if you've never heard of the practice and you've seen it, you'd be like, what the fuck are they doing? But they're literally just like they're stretching. They stretch the arms, they stretch the legs up.
It's so healthy.
And it so is. And a lot of the claim is, one, it helps them cough up the amniotic fluid. Two, it helps them grow because like it stretches.
Probably also helps them pass all their mercurium, or
Yeah,
whatever
that black
black
stuff.
fluid
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's like baby yoga,
Which is like removing toxins from the
absolutely.
body.
Yeah,
Which is what yoga also helps with.
exactly. So like I did it all with my children and other people's children, but
Awesome.
I haven't done toddler yoga. I will look into that.
And this
Theater will
show's so
love that.
cool. Yes. Like
Mhm.
I had to tell you that, and like it's so cool, guys. And again, it's called Cosmic Kids.
Mhm.
And it, at least season 2, I didn't look at season 1. It was just what came up when I
Uh-huh.
was searching to see like what yoga is out there. Because I thought I'd tell people, like, we could tell people where they can find yoga. But it's a great way for adults to start too. And anybody who's very familiar with Buddhist or Hindu tales, please watch this show.
I totally will. I
Tell
was
me.
wondering if they did Hindu tales.
Well, I wonder if the stories she tells relate back or if they're just nonsense stories.
Mhm.
I don't know because I only know like 2 or 3 Hindu tales. I only know a couple of Buddhist tales.
Right.
So, or mythology, however you want to put it. So I don't know if her stories, like if, you know, Mr. Rabbit or Sheriff Rabbit, I don't know if he relates to like Shiva or something.
Mhm.
I don't know because I don't know the stories well enough, but somebody has to know. And so like that, I don't know if they're nonsensical stories or if the stories make more sense on a deeper level, but
Mhm.
either way, it's a great way to introduce your kids to yoga, but also because she goes so slow, it's a great way if you are an adult who's intimidated by yoga,
Mhm.
pull up Cosmic Kids. It's a fun little show
Right.
and you'll go through the motions very slowly because it's for children.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great way to get introduced to these different poses. Yes, she doesn't tell you what the actual name is, so you'll still maybe be confused, whatever. But it's a great way to get into yoga. Like if you're intimidated, I just wanted to throw that out there because there's nothing wrong with adults watching kid shows if it's just because like this would make it easier. If
Right.
it's creepy, don't do that. That's
Yes.
gross.
On that note, do we want to hear from our sponsor?
Well, I was gonna say, before we hear from our sponsor, do you want to say? I was just gonna say, like, do we want to find like where else you can find places to watch?
Oh
yoga,
yeah,
you know?
YouTube is fantastic. I
is.
really like Sarah Beth. That's her name. Yogi Sarah Beth. She's the one that I watch and listen to every time I do it.
Yeah, and I mean, my friend is who taught me, and I don't have any particular that I like. There used to be a show on Hulu. I don't know if it's still there, but it was like just daily yoga exercises. Amazon has a lot to choose from. Well, it's got like at least 8 things for adults plus the kid ones. So, you know, because I think there were more than just Cosmic Kids, but that's what I checked out. I'm sure Netflix has yoga stuff as well. But I just thought like we could tell people where they can find videos to get started because maybe you don't have a yoga studio near you. But if you do have a yoga studio near you, it's awesome to at least try some of the intro classes so somebody can tell you what you need to do, like for the like certain poses if your back's not doing the right thing, you know, have
Mhm.
somebody who can see that and tell you. It's a great experience to go do it with other people as well. And on that note,
Let's hear from our sponsor.
yes, I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to. Thank you so much for joining the show today. Today's show is brought to you by our sponsors, our very first sponsors, Calm Aura, and they have given us the Calm Aura Tree Devia tarot deck.
It's
Isn't it
actually,
gorgeous?
it is such a beautiful deck. I mean, didn't you say it's lined in gold?
It is gold lined, and the art, like the box is just the tip of the iceberg with this art.
5 of Cups. I love this artistry. I hope
Gorgeous.
they can see it all right. The
I-
the artistry is perfect. It fits perfectly in your hands. And
Such
to
a good
me,
hand feel.
as a tarot reader, it's all about the feeling that
Yes,
the hands. This is
absolutely.
perfect size. Perfect size. The the thickness of the card is
Is
also
so good for
perfect.
shuffling. It's
Yes.
like, as a tarot reader, you will love these cards.
Yes.
So if you would like to get your hands on one of these gorgeous decks or any of the other wonderful metaphysical offerings at Calm Aura, you can get your very own Tree Devia tarot deck and more at calmaura.com/witches talking tarot. And that is CALMOURA.com/witches talking tarot. If you want to see how to spell our name, you can find out when you go hit that subscribe button after the show.
Well, and I
You-
think you forgot the best
I
part.
just
You
haven't
get
gotten there yet.
10% off, right?
Yes.
You get 10% off.
Your whole order. So grab more than just the cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thanks for coming to Sit a Spell. So enjoy the rest of this episode. Again, brought to you by the Calm Aura. Calm Aura Tree Devia Tarot Deck. So to get your 10% off your entire order at calmaura.com/witches talking tarot, use code tarot witches 10 when placing your order.
So something I want to say with starting yoga is that you don't have to immediately start it at doing it 20 minutes. The way that I like to do it is I'll go like 5 or 10 minutes. Let's just say 5 minutes, super quick, super easy, just a few stretches. 10 minutes, okay, super quick, super easy. We're stretching it a little bit longer.
Right.
15 minutes. And then the furthest I have gone is about 25 minutes. Like, I just don't have the time to do a full hour of
Yeah.
yoga. You know what I mean? 25 to 30 minutes. But don't immediately start out at 25 to 30 minutes and then be like, fuck, I'm out of breath. I can't finish this. You know what I mean? Start out slow.
Yeah.
It's like with like lifting
Yeah.
weights.
Don't
It
push
is
yourself.
literal strength training.
Yeah.
So it's like with lifting weights. Lift what you can. Lift a little bit more next time. A little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then stay with that until you're comfortable. Then a little bit more. You know, you don't want to just immediately jump into it because that's how people get discouraged and hurt themselves.
Yes. Well, and beyond that, again, yoga is a mindful practice. Yoga is a practice that is intended to have you focus on your breathing and
Mhm.
your body and the way that your body moves and the way that your body feels. Like a lot of the poses,
Mhm.
you're moving your body in ways that releases tension on a
Mhm.
specific organ so it can flush itself
Right.
literally for removing toxins from your body. So it's not something that you should jump headlong into.
Mhm.
It's something that you should do, like Maddie said, start out slow, start out with what is possible to do for your body because
Mhm.
everybody has different limitations. Right?
Exactly. And everybody's positions, while you may be doing the same position, is going to look
Right.
different.
Yes. And like, sun salutation may not be like the hardest, like little yoga thing to go through because it's not just one pose, it's like a whole thing. It's like
It's like a
you
routine.
do, yeah, it's a routine. You do
Mhm.
it for like 15 minutes, and that's to like prep into more intense yoga, right?
Mhm.
But like, if I like sun salutation, it wakes me up, it makes me feel good. It's what I did earlier today before we started recording to kind of get in the mood, so to speak, for yoga. The episode yoga, like I wore yoga pants and stuff I would wear for doing yoga. Because I like to do that to get in the mood for our episodes. But like, I know it's not the most intense thing. And I've done more intense stuff and I can do more intense stuff, but I enjoy it. And that's the thing about any kind of exercise, I believe you should enjoy it. Like if it's painful,
Absolutely.
if it's something you dread, your body's trying to tell you something.
You're not going to want to stick with it.
Exactly. And yoga is something that, again, it's like, it's literally scientifically backed.
Mhm.
Like before people had the word science, they knew this science, they figured out the relation of the way that the body moves with the way that the body functions.
When I had
And
the
we've lost that knowledge.
absolutely, when I had the big C, I won't get into that. And no, I'm
Yeah.
not talking about the people, but when I had the big C
That Amber's
sickness,
afraid of.
yeah. What I would do is put Vic, and you can do this with any like cold allergies. I would put Vicks Vapor Rub or homemade Vicks Vapor Rub, whatever you want to use.
We're talking about two different C's. Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Okay. And I would do chair yoga because there is chair yoga for those who are
They
what
have
is the word?
problems. You're.
And I don't want to say
you have
handy
limited
capable.
mobility.
Limited mobility. There you go. Okay. And I would do chair yoga because I'm not getting on the ground while I'm that sick. You know what I mean? And it helps break up the mucus as you're stretching. You're also inhaling those herbs, that scent, which is helping
Yes.
break up the mucus. And then cough as after you're doing it or as you're doing it in between, and it's going to get all that up.
And that's a great way for your body to do that because,
Mhm.
like, when you're sick, you're going to cough regardless, right?
Right.
But
But
when
you're
you're
helping
doing-
it.
You're helping it. But when you're doing yoga, you're loosening up the muscles
Mhm.
and the ligaments and
And the phlegm itself.
right. But
Mhm.
like, so you're unlikely to like break a rib
Yes.
while coughing because you can break a rib.
Oh,
coughing.
yeah.
You
I
absolutely
believe
can.
it. Yes.
Like I've known people that have broken a rib by coughing. So
Mhm.
like you're less likely to break a rib coughing up your phlegm if you're doing chair yoga
Mhm.
and like working the body and like helping it. Because think about the body as a machine, right?
Mhm.
When you run a machine without oil, it's gonna break down
Mhm.
because there's nothing lubricating all those parts, right?
Mhm.
And the whole thing about yoga is having the machine stay lubricated
Mhm. Mhm.
with oil. Like I think that's a great way to like put it because that is the idea of yoga is
Mhm.
you're getting your body in tune in a way that it can function through lots of things in life. Like when you look at different yoga poses, a lot of them equate to things we do in our regular life, right?
Mhm.
Like I know this isn't yoga and this is more martial arts, but like think about in Karate Kid the way that Daniel-san was taught, wax on, wax off. But then that related to actual moves that you would do for blocking in karate. You know what I'm saying? Like, and yoga's like that same kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like when you're doing these repetitive motions with yoga and you're conditioning your body in a healthy way, then you go work in your factory job and you have to do these repetitive motions.
Mhm.
You're
It
less
doesn't
likely
hurt
to
as
get
hurt.
carpal
Yeah,
tunnel.
Carpal tunnel doesn't hurt as much. Now, one of the things I like to do when I do yoga, and
Sorry,
this
I
will
wasn't
lead in-
trying to soapbox. It's just a
No, no, no,
connection
no.
that I saw and I just
No, I made that face because that actor. Oh my god! Every time I see him, I swear to God, he's dirty as shit. And I
Fuck
don't mean
that
that.
guy.
I don't mean that in a.
he's the
hateful
bad
way.
guy in Karate Kid.
What Daniel?
Yeah. He comes into
I
like,
guess-
have you ever seen that YouTube video where he's the
No.
bad guy?
No, but
And it's
like,
like the other guy's just trying to live his life, and here comes the new kid. picking
every
on him.
time I see him, I
I
swear
love
to
it.
God, he's been thrown in the dirt, so he's dirty as shit. Or he's that one guy from The Outsiders, and he's definitely dirty as shit because he's poor. And it's like, I have never seen this man clean. I have never seen take a
I always
bath.
had a crush on the bad guy from Karate Kid. I love that boy. Oh, I can't remember his name right now.
But
I
the
love him.
blonde, yeah.
Yes.
But anyway, so one of the
He's a
things
bad guy in a lot of stuff, but he's a good guy at heart.
I like to pair when I do yoga is tea, which is going to bring us to your,
Yes.
thing. But the reason why I like to drink tea while doing yoga is because it does open those up. It
Mhm.
opens up the lungs. It opens up the stomach area, the throat area.
If
It
you're
really
drinking
warms-
spiced tea, it opens up your arteries.
Oh,
and your
absolutely,
pores.
absolutely. So while you're doing this, you
Or I
really
guess
get that.
capillaries.
I guess it's
Or
like
hands.
stereotypical to drink tea and do yoga. There's a reason for that.
Right. Yeah.
And
Some
speaking
stereotypes exist for a reason.
and speaking of warmth and opening shit up while doing yoga,
Hot
Amber,
yoga. Thank you.
I'm not motherfucking doing hot yoga, but Amber
love
likes it.
hot yoga. Like, I love hot yoga. Like, it's so good. So, all the things that yoga does, right? Like, I was talking about, like, yoga lubricating your machine, so to speak, right? So, when you do hot yoga, it's like a billion times intensified. The heat opens up your pores. So, your skin is exchanging air more rapidly and more readily and more easily in that hot environment than it is if you do yoga in an air conditioned or cold environment, right?
Mhm.
Because again, yoga is all about not just moving your body, but having this harmony both within and without, right? And so the focus on air is very important. And that focus is not just in your mouth or nose to your lungs. That focus on air exists throughout your whole body, right?
Mhm.
And with hot yoga, it allows that air passage to happen more naturally, more easily, maybe not more naturally, but more easily.
Mhm.
But also that heat, right? It opens up all those capillaries, just like the tea. It opens up your chest. It opens up your muscles.
Mhm.
So you're less likely to pull a muscle when you're doing hot yoga.
And warmth really is relaxing. Like
it
with the
is.
tea, like I'd prefer to drink tea as opposed to hot
Yeah.
yoga. But it has very much the same
It
benefits.
does. And
And-
I can't lie. Anytime I sweat heavily,
Mhm.
I feel more healthy.
Well, I
'cause
mean, you're
know
detoxing. You're
exactly.
literally pouring all that shit
Yes.
out.
And,
You
and
know?
that is probably why I like hot yoga the most,
Mhm.
honestly, because you just pour sweat right out of you. I mean, you pour sweat out. It's like, if you pay to do it in a studio, like they turn it on to like
Yeah, they turn on the
110
heat.
degrees
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something. Like it's like doing yoga in a less
Sauna.
steamy sauna.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do yoga in a sauna, it is too moist. You will not be able to pour sweat like I'm talking about. You will get overheated and make yourself sick. So it's, don't try hot yoga by yourself for the first time. Like last time I did hot
I don't
yoga,
even like hot walks.
right.
Like
I've said it once, I'll say it a million times. I am a houseplant. I like it hot and humid. So like hot yoga, like when my friend was like, this is what we're gonna do next, I was like, okay. And I enjoyed it. I really did. And so like when my AC went out in 2019, I was like, this is my opportunity, because I can't afford a yoga studio, but
Mhm.
I can't afford to put on a yoga video and stay in my hot ass living room and sweat balls. Like I can't afford that. And it feels so good. Like, because here's like, when you're doing hot yoga, not only are your muscles opening up because of the heat allowing them, they're stretching further. So
Mhm.
you're actually stretching further than you could if you weren't doing hot yoga when you do hot yoga,
Mhm.
because your muscles can't stretch. Your ligaments can't stretch that far without that level of heat.
Mhm.
And it feels fucking good. It is hot as shit. And if you have problems with the heat, if you've ever
Right.
had sunstroke, if you've ever had heat stroke, do not do hot yoga.
Mhm.
It will probably kill you.
Yeah, do your
literally.
research on hot
Yeah,
yoga
like,
before you do
again,
that, because it can
Start it
cut-
at a
yeah.
studio. Yeah,
Mhm.
like don't do it on your own, because the studio is going to tell you.
Well, I
for
think
sure.
it falls in line with the whole work your way up.
Yes.
know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, unless you are like, some people, like if you live in, say, like Phoenix, Arizona,
Mhm.
you could probably start off with hot yoga at a studio. Again, don't start off with hot yoga on your own. Seriously. Like, I cannot stress this enough. Usually I'm the one that's like, do whatever the fuck you want. I cannot stress enough how you should not do hot yoga without an experienced individual involved. Like, can't stress enough.
I thought I saw someone walking in your kitchen.
So maybe the shadow man has been appearing more and more.
Huh.
lately. Yeah.
Huh. Is there anything else you'd like to add about yoga or hot yoga?
I would just like everybody to give yoga the respect it deserves, right?
Mhm.
Like a lot of people make jokes about, oh, those girls in their yoga pants. And a lot of people go to yoga to get a tight ass. Yoga is not about wearing cute pants or cute little Lululemon
Mhm.
outfits. Yoga is a spiritual practice
Mhm.
that is important for mind and body.
Well, that was something I was reading. There's two aspects of yoga. There's the Western aspects, which is all about the physical and, like it's an exercise. And then there's is it Eastern? Yeah, I mean Eastern aspect and the spiritual aspect,
When it was originally brought over,
Mhm.
that element was intended.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, and I was like, am I going to bring it up or not? But you say that, so now I feel I should. Unfortunately, a lot of the yoga that came over in the spiritual manner got corrupted and became cults, such as the Ashramis or whatever up in Oregon.
I know.
back in
I
the
was gonna say
80s.
those Oregon people. I knew exactly who you were talking
But I mean, there
about.
were a lot of cults like that. I mean, they weren't the only ones where, somebody from an ashram out in India decided that they were going to bring the practice over to America because people from America were going there. They were living on the ashrams. They were living the lifestyle. They were practicing. And then when it came over here, corruption happened. And, like, I just think because of that, because the removing of the spiritualization, because of those who misused and abused and whatever, I just think that we have like firmly made a cut in between that. And over here, we only see it as the gym. And I just think that you are missing out on the benefits of yoga when you view it from that westernized point of view. And that is really one of the things like I wanted to impress like that point the most. And I feel like I brought it up a bit, but like it really is, it's a spiritual practice, and it's based on harmony, and it's based in like actual sciences, even though back when it was created, maybe that wasn't the word or the terminology, but it's still based on the sciences of the way the body works. And we shouldn't sleep on that, to use Western terminology. And that is all I can think to say.
I think that's a great way to end this episode. So if you liked what you heard, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can find us on Threads, Facebook, and Instagram at Witches Talking Tarot.
And don't sleep on the opportunity to support this podcast by being a patron on patreon.com/Witches Talking Tarot, like Death by DVD,
Melissa,
Victoria,
and Pam.
We thank you very much. You can also find us on the X at Classiest Witches, because we are the classiest witches
Thanks for sitting with us for a spell.
Bye. I had fun with that one.
Yeah, that was a good episode. I'm Maddie.
I'm Amber. And we're Witches Talking Tarot.
We are the weirdos in the store.
I get song like a Santa snubble. Flip the switch and let the cauldron bubble. Sam.
Wow.